Doing it and doing it well. Woo! It's Yasmin Young.
The People Station 93.7 WBLK, home of the Steve Harvey Morning Show. I'm Yasmin Young. This is the 2 to 6 takeover. And this weekend, there's going to be a lot going on in Buffalo. A lot of food, of course, and a lot of laughs. I have Miss Michelle Wolf with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
So you're here at Helium Comedy Club, and you're going to be here for two shows tonight, 7:30 and 10 o'clock, and tomorrow, 7:30 and 10 o'clock as well.
That's right.
Okay, and you can get tickets at buffalo.heliumcomedy.com. Now, you work on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, for those who may not know you.
That's correct, yeah.
So you are actually a writer on the show?
I'm a writer on the show, and then I also am, they call me a contributor, but I also am on the show as well.
So I know he sometimes gets, a little political and things like that. So what's it like working on that show with him? I mean, where is he from? So before you answer,
he's from South Africa.
Okay, because I know he has the accent, so I wasn't quite sure where he was from.
Yeah, he's originally from South Africa, and it's very, obviously politics are crazy right now, but it's kind of cool to work with him because he came from like apartheid South Africa. So and he writes about it in his book and stuff, but, he has a black mother and a white father, which was illegal when he was born.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So,
wow. You don't think about that, but yeah.
Yeah. So he comes from this crazy political background, and now he's over here hosting this crazy political climate too, but I think it also still in his for him probably pales in comparison to what he's used to.
Actually,
he comes from like dictators, and,
right.
he's used to seeing a ton of political upheaval in Africa. So I think we're all freaking out constantly,
right?
And he's still sort of like. Yeah,
it hasn't gotten that bad.
You're on the path, but
So speaking of, do you incorporate politics into your stand-up? What is your stand-up all about?
I mean, my stand-up's more. I've shied away a little bit from politics just because I talk about it all day.
Okay.
So it's like I personally need a mental break.
Right.
And I feel like everyone's so overloaded right now. I mean, I have a couple political jokes, but for the most part, I talk about bigger social issues.
Okay.
A lot of stuff about feminism and, just like big things that are happening, but from my point of view. I talk about terrorism. I talk, funny stuff.
Right. Funny stuff, like terrorism. So speaking of feminism, what has it been like for you as a woman working in the world of comedy where it's male-dominated, particularly on the television side as well?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with two older brothers, so I'm used to being...
So you got beat up?
Yeah. I got constantly beat up. I mean, it was more like if I wanted to play with them, they'd be like, prove that you can hang with us,
So that prepared you in life.
Exactly. Like they used to trick me into they were big wrestling fans, and they used to trick me into being like, hey, you want to wrestle with us? Just so they could practice power bombs on me and stuff like that. So I'm used to being so comedy for me is I'm like, oh, you guys are nothing. You're not going to punch me.
Right. At least I'm going to walk out of here unscathed, physically at least.
Yeah. So, I mean, I've actually, and I also, I mean, a lot of my best friends are male comics, and everyone is super supportive, and I've been very lucky to not run into anything crazy. I also when I'm on the road, especially if there's a creepy person at a club or something like that, I always get a nice heads up, and then I always just make sure I keep my distance. They'll be like, don't really talk to that guy.
I've been waiting. You're like, yeah, I gotta go.
Yeah, exactly.
So who was it that inspired you to get into comedy? If you grew up around wrestling brothers, what was it that made you want to pursue a career in comedy?
I mean, I was a big SNL fan.
Okay.
And, so I kind of... I watched that every weekend. And then, the more I got into comedy, I really loved old Cara Burnett sketches. And I don't know, I just liked being around it. Once I started it, I was like, oh, this is fun. You know, this is a fun thing to do. So.
Do you have a preference? I know some people prefer stand-up. Some people actually prefer television or doing improv skits? Do you have any preference?
I mean, my very favorite is stand-up.
Yeah.
That's my favorite thing to do. And it's also a nice balance because, like, when you're writing for someone else, it's like they may or may not take your joke. They may go in, like,
or they may not deliver it the way you had in mind.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this one, it's more like I get to do that during the day, but then I get to do my own thing at night, which is like, I think if I didn't have that, I would go a little bit crazy because like the stuff I do at night is all me, you know, like I get to say the joke the way I want to say it,
right.
go after the take that I would want to go after rather than having it, having to kind of filter through someone else's voice.
Well, outside of doing your stand-up, working on the show, what else are you working on?
Well, I'm doing a special for HBO in August. We're taping that in New York City. I keep forgetting I'm in New York State. So I'm like,
Buffalo is completely different than New York City.
Yeah.
Completely different. Is this your first time here?
It's my first time in Buffalo.
Okay,
yeah.
well, tomorrow, if you have time before your shows, tell Sean to take you out to the Taste of Buffalo.
I've heard all about it. It's like
huge,
right outside my hotel, too.
Right downtown Buffalo. Huge food festival. It will be a great welcome to Buffalo. You'll really get to taste the Buffalo.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
And someone else was saying last night that Buffalo is like one of the best food destinations in the world. And
well, you
stuff,
can tell everybody's kind of bigger. And that's how you know if the
Everyone
food's good.
bought bigger jeans and we're like, I'm going to make this happen.
So the special for HBO, what is that about?
It's just my stand-up. It's an hour of my stand-up, and I'm really excited about that. And, I mean, that's really what I'm focusing on right now.
Cool.
And the show. So.
And you're on social media?
I am, yeah. Twitter and Instagram, it's Michelle is a Wolf.
I like that.
Yeah. 2 L's in Michelle, no E on Wolf. Get it right, guys. So if you go on Instagram, you can see a lot of pictures of me running. So I'm really boring. I don't post memes or things like
Don't
that.
Don't feel bad. Me too. I'm like selfie every 2 weeks. That's about the best it's gonna be.
I'm like a mom with technology. I'm just like, is this how we're using this now?
Right.
Okay.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Buffalo.heliumcomedy.com is how you can get tickets. 2 shows tonight, 7:30 and 10 o'clock, and 2 shows tomorrow.
Doing it and doing it well. It's Yasmin Young.